Welcome back. Well, a lot of families will embark on a summer adventure. Whether your trip involves a tent, a yurt, or an RV, our next guest has a few tips to making the experience safe and enjoyable. Joining us now is the creator, producer, and star of the hit TV series Survivorman, Les Stroud, aka the world's most trusted outdoorsman. Good morning to you, Les.
Good morning. Did you say the word yurt in that introduction?
I did, Les. I stayed in a yurt last year.
That's incredible. Well, because I'm actually in Survivorman's been on for a long time now, as you know, and we've been doing Survivorman and Sun episodes this year. And we just got back from Peru in the Amazon jungle, but in 3 weeks we're leaving for the next shoot, which is in Mongolia, and of course we'll be staying in. Now they call them gurs there, but it's the same thing as a yurt.
Ah, I highly recommend it. I think it was a blast. I mean, where do we start when we think about taking an adventure this summer? Some people, prefer glamping, others prefer camping. There's kind of a lot of taste when it comes to being outdoors. So, what do you suggest to people if they're not quite as extreme as you?
Well, yeah, and that's a good point. If they're not quite as extreme as me. Survivorman has obviously the whole series been based on doing some fairly extreme adventures, but it surprises people to find out that I absolutely adore regular camping and getting out in canoes and hiking nature trails and even glamping on occasion. But where do we start? We start with, yet we go back to Survivorman and start with basic preparation. I always talk about having a base of knowledge, but also having a bit of a kit with you. You head out with a little bit of a kit on your body, in your pockets, maybe a little pouch or pack, and you just feel that much more confident when you're out there, even if it's just hiking a trail with your 9-year-old.
So what things are in that little kit? What do we need to make sure that we've got in our pocket?
Well, I like to talk about the fact that I'm very glad that T-Rex Tape and Camillus Knives have been able to make this interview possible, and I've teamed up with them because in my kit, organically, I always have had an excellent knife for the outdoors and even tape. And these things can work in all sorts of situations, survival situations or just patching up your backpack. From there I go with fire starting equipment, a shelter, signaling equipment. It sort of goes on, and but it's not about being paranoid or being all geeked out with it or overly Boy Scouted, and I say that as a compliment. I love what they do. You don't have to have a big pack. It's about just having some stuff comfortably on you so that if you come into a situation like your boots done up and ruined, and you can put some tape on it to hold it in place, you make it home. And that's what we want to do. We do want to eventually get home.
I think one of the biggest problems about being outdoors are like ticks and bugs and things like that. I don't mind like nature and all that, but I don't want them hanging out inside my socks. So do you have any sort of like ideas in terms of what people can do just generally or be smart about certain bugs or wildlife?
Yeah, well, first of all, that cracks me up the way you say that. Like, I don't really have a problem with nature, but I hear that all, and my whole point has been about getting people like yourself out there and reconnecting with nature. And I was just recently talking about the fact that in my program in New York State at the Omega Institute, I get people lying on their backs in nature. That's hard for a lot of people to do because of ticks and mosquitoes, ants, and so on. So that goes back to our thing about having a bit of a base knowledge. I'm in tick-infested areas and places like that all the time, so I do the extra smart thing. It might be to take my sock and put it up over my pants in those areas. It might be I know that the manzanita tree areas are where a lot of the ticks are, so I'm going to go over to the pines instead. That little bit of base knowledge of where you're going, time of year, what you're going to be doing will enable you to be out there feeling confident. And that's the thing about me. I just want you guys to be confident out in nature because I know it's going to fill you up and it's going to make you feel more healthier, stronger, smarter, and enable life out of nature in our unnatural society to be that much smoother.
I agree with you so much. I think the moment you take to spend and reconnect with nature, you really do kind of reconnect with your childhood and just what it means to be human. So I love it. Thanks so much for joining us. Where can we go for more information?
Again, my gracious hosts, trextape.com, camillusknives.com, and for me, the usual social media, real Les Stroud or lesstroud.ca, and that's actually me answering the questions and talking to you on Facebook and Twitter. If my office is putting something up, they sign it as the office, so it's actually me online.
I love it. Keep up the great work and have a great next adventure.
Thank you very much, and get back out there. I promise you, you'll love it.
Will do.